I.F.O. by Conway Fitzgerald. Chapter 3. Friday morning came a little too early for Cindy, her mind still wrestling with the odd dream it had created. Her two daughters, Tara and Leah, were on the bed, giggling as they watched TV. Boris, her loyal bulldog, groaned as her eyes opened in his direction. He licked his chops and got up onto his feet, his tongue darting outwards as he patiently awaited his breakfast. When Tara let out a scream of excitement, Cindy sat up.
"Tara!"
she exclaimed. Her eyes were still shut. Her hand grasped her forehead.
"Would you keep it down, please?"
Boris let out a bark.
"I think you need to get up now, dear. It's almost 7:30.
Cindy's mother said as she entered the bedroom.
I just need 10 more minutes.
She buried her head back under her pillow.
"Just 10 more minutes,"
said Tara, trying to imitate her mom. She crawled up onto her and repeated it again, this time much louder.
"Just 10 more minutes."
Cindy groaned. She knew her 10 more minutes of sleep was a lost cause. She let out another groan as she pulled off the blankets and rolled herself out of bed. She headed straight for the bathroom.
"Tara, Leah, come on now, it's time for breakfast. Let your mom get herself ready." "Mom, could you please feed Boris?"
Cindy said, as the dog forced his way through the door into the bathroom with her. She didn't respond. Cindy scratched the dog's head while she sat on the toilet. Cindy's mother, Evelyn James, was a widower after 34 years of marriage, and she was Cindy's saving grace. Without her, there would be no way to continue her career as a journalist and a barkeep. Still, even with their grandmother around, the kids seemed sad and deprived. Leah's reticence worried Cindy. She seemed to have a look of disinterest of late, in school, friends, or just about anything she was asked about. Though common for a teenager, it was troubling for an 8-year-old. The girls missed their father. But what was she to do? Remarry? Out of the question. The 2 occasions when she had dated, the children were both very upset for several days afterwards. They didn't understand what happened between their parents, and they wouldn't for some time. In the interim, Cindy had to do her best to be a mother, sole provider, and teacher. But lately, her mother seemed to be doing most of the parenting. Before Cindy was out of the shower and dressed, the kids were already waiting for the school bus to arrive. She ran out to the driveway in her robe and slippers to get a quick goodbye hug and kiss. And then she got dressed and embarked on her own half-hour commute north on I-25 to Albuquerque. When she exited the freeway, San Mateo Boulevard was crawling with hundreds of strange people. Some were dressed up in all sorts of spacey costumes, big-eyed aliens and Klingons, as well as other crystal-toting freaks, all in town to get a glimpse of the UFOs. Now that the story had broken nationally and grown some legs, Albuquerque was the new hotspot for all things extraterrestrial. Enthusiasts and the vendors that catered to them packed their tents and drove up from Roswell to sell all their various alien merchandise. It was a circus, and it made Cindy even later than she already was. When she pulled up to her broadcast center, she had to wait for the police to allow her into the parking lot, directing her past the mass of wackos and their "End is Nigh" placards. Cindy rushed inside and tried to get to her desk before Wally might realize she was late again. But after she ducked behind her partition and pulled some AP reports from the in-bin, she noticed Wally was busy in a meeting. She surveyed deftly above her cubicle towards his office. There was Lars, behind the glass, his back to her, discussing something with the boss. After a couple of minutes, they emerged. Wally looked sullen, disappointed. Lars headed for his desk and then proceeded to collect his belongings into an empty box. Cindy approached slowly.
"Lars, what's going on?"
He looked up at her, gave her a half smile, and then returned to clearing out his desk.
I've begun the first day of the rest of my life. No more KANM. No more freak show.
Oh, Lars. Stop. You can't quit.
She reached into the box and pulled some of the items out and put them back atop his desk. He smiled, then grabbed them and put them back in.
Yes, I can. And I did.
He grabbed the box hastily and headed for the door.
Lars, wait.
She wailed as she chased him outside. They reached his car when she thought of something appropriate to say.
You're the only friend I've got here. Please don't leave me alone with these people. Rudy and Donnie. Gah.
Lars stopped and turned to her.
Come on. We're a team, remember? We're gonna make it. I know it.
She gave him the wink and smile that would usually enable her to get her way. But today was different. Lars was determined to leave. He unlocked his trunk and threw the box of desk fodder inside.
We're not a team, Sin. See, that's the problem. You don't need me. It's you, your life, and your dreams. I'm just someone somewhere in the mix to help you get there.
That's not true, Lars.
She interjected, but he wasn't finished.
I'm sure you'll make it. You've got the pretty face for TV, and you always seem to find a way to get what you want.
Lars, that's not fair.
I need to do something that will challenge me. Something that will be good for me. Not something that will help you succeed. I'm just the guy who will do whatever you want to make the great demo tape to get you the hell out of here.
Cindy's mouth opened, her eyes squinted, and her forehead wrinkled in disbelief.
Lars, I thought we were friends,
she said, trying hard to hold back the emotion swelling within her.
We are. We're friends. Okay? You happy?
He unlocked the front door and got in.
No.
She shook her head as her voice cracked.
Look, I'm sorry, Cindy, but seeing you every day just hurts me too much. I can't handle it anymore. I need to get out of here and find someone who will love me back.
He started the car, which made it hard for her to hear the end of his sentence. But she stood silently where she was, saddened that someone she enjoyed working with so much was leaving on such an angry note.
I'll see you around,
he said as he peeled out of the parking lot, causing the crowd of freaks to disperse as he exited. Cindy turned and walked slowly back towards the station. She questioned herself. Am I really such a selfish bitch? She thought of her daughter Leah. Was she thinking the same thing? She headed straight for the ladies' room, trying to buy some time to collect herself. When she emerged, Wally was waiting for her.
Got a minute, Cindy?
He asked, his back leaned up against the wall.
Yeah, sure, Wall. What's up?
She forced a smile.
Come, into my office.
She followed him to his office and then had a seat.
That stinks about Lars, you know? He was such a talented cameraman.
She said with a very professional tone.
But I'm sure he'll do great, wherever he ends up.
Yeah, that's a tough loss. I'm very surprised by his sudden departure, actually. Which is why I wanted to talk to you. He told me he wanted to stop shooting for the station today. No 2 weeks notice, nothing. He seemed driven out of here by something. I asked him if he found another job, and he said he hadn't. Did you happen to notice or hear about anything unusual, or...
No, he just, last night at the bar, he said, I'm gonna quit tomorrow, and I thought he was kidding. I mean, I'm shocked too.
Wally leaned back in his recliner chair, placed his hand on his chin, and raised his eyebrows as he spoke.
You kids aren't romantically involved, by any chance, are you?
What?
Cindy let out a holler of embarrassment.
No. Wally, we're friends. I mean, no. Absolutely not.
She folded her legs tightly in her seat, waving her right hand in dismissal.
Well, I just noticed your little tiff outside, and I thought maybe there was a broken heart involved here.
It was at that moment that Cindy realized that she had heard Lars right. He said, "Someone who will love me back." She fought her emotions back as she recalled his words. She tried to play it off in front of her boss.
No, we argued. I pleaded with him to stay. For professional reasons, of course. I like working with him. He's a lot of fun.
Wally leaned forward in his chair.
All right,
He said, satisfied that even if they were involved, she wasn't going to tell him. He rifled through a folder on his desk and put on his glasses to read a list.
Well, I guess I can't send you to the capital today. I don't know how long it's going to take to find a replacement. I suppose it'll be best if I just send you home for the day. You're still working nights at that dive bar in Los Chavez?
Yeah, but it's just 4 nights a week. I'm trying to work it out of my schedule, but it's just a little hard right now.
She said defensively, displaying a little desperation in her clearly overworked lifestyle.
Why don't you go home and get some rest? I'll see if I can find someone to shoot for you Monday morning.
I can stay and write something for Dan and Tammy.
Well, I'll leave that up to you. However, I'd prefer to see you get a little more sleep. You look tired, Cindy, and I don't want to lose you, too.
Okay, Wally, if you say so. You're the boss. Thanks.
She smiled as she exited his office. The idea of sleep made her feel very tired. She returned to her desk and decided to take him up on his offer for a day off. Just then, her phone extension lit up. She answered, hoping it was Lars. Maybe she thought they could meet up tonight and talk things over.
This is Cindy Turnauer.
Oh, hello, Miss Turnauer. The unfamiliar voice said and paused. You're the television news reporter who also works at that bar on Mercado Street in Los Chavez?
Yes.
She said hesitantly.
What can I do for you?
Well, I think it's actually what I can do for you.
And what is that?
She paused and then put on an air of impatience.
I'm sorry. May I ask who this is, please, and why you're calling me?
There was a few seconds of silence before the man responded. My name is Dr. Arnold Thunderberg. We've met before. A few times at your bar, actually. I was there last night and you mentioned how you wanted to do something to help your career. To get the big scoop so you could have a better life for your kids.
Oh, right. Hi.
Her eyes were getting heavy. She wanted to get off the phone and get home as soon as possible, but the man kept talking. Yeah, well, that's why I'm calling. You wanted the big scoop. Well, I've got it for you.
Really?
She answered in disbelief.
And what scoop is that?
Well, it's the answer to all of the local buzz. You know, about the UFOs.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, sir, but I'm really not interested in doing any more stories on that. That's over as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I suppose I'll have to call Dahlia Robinson. Hearing that name nearly caused Cindy's eyes to pop out of their sockets. Her mind conjured thoughts of Dahlia and her crew getting an Emmy for following up on the story she blew off. Cindy exclaimed in reflex.
Wait, well, no, don't do that.
She scrambled to find a pen and a pad to take notes on.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your story? What do you have? Photos? Video?
No photos or video. I was hoping you could provide me with that. I'd actually like to have a camera crew and reporter present to document my discovery.
Your discovery?
Her interest was piqued. Now she envisioned a stray UFO lodged into the side of a mountain. She was there first, before the dust settled and the army came and took it away. claiming nothing had ever happened there.
What have you discovered?
There was a long pause. One of her coworkers approached and asked about Lars. She waved him off emphatically. Well, before I divulge all of my secrets and make my findings public, I need a couple of assurances from you.
Sure, shoot.
She said, writing Dr. Funderburk and Discovery on her pad. First, I ask that you play down the significance of this call to your coworkers. I don't want a bunch of reporters over here. Just one crew. Preferably a journalist and a camera person who are prepared to act in a discreet and professional manner.
Okay. That's not a problem.
Secondly, I want an assurance that once we've started, when I've shown you what it is I have to show, that you'll follow the story through to the end. It's without a doubt the biggest story of the 21st century, and it'll no doubt test your mettle as a journalist. I need to know that you will see the story through and complete the documentation.
Wow. Sounds very challenging.
I know it's difficult to appreciate the nature of my request now, but believe me, you'll understand later. Cindy tried to cut through the mystery and get some facts on paper.
I'm sorry, you said your name was Dr. Funder?
Dr. Arnold Funderburk, he said slowly and deliberately. Are you on board, Miss Turnauer? Do we have a deal? Or should I call Miss Robinson?
Yes, sure. You got it. I mean, where? When? What is it that you want to show us?
Come to 1800 Ladron Park Highway tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and I'll show and tell you everything. Be prepared for something really special.
1800 Landron Park? Is that...
1800 Ladron Park Highway. It's my private ranch road off Route 6 that leads to Ladron Peak. You'll see signs for the Peak Lookout. That's where you turn. Please, bring a cameraman and plenty of film, or digital drives if that's what you use. And bring lots of extra batteries. It's a long way out here, and I guarantee you won't want to miss a frame of this footage.
Okay, great. Sounds very interesting, Doctor. I'll be there. We'll be there.
Just remember what I asked. And remember, it's for the kids. A better life, right?
Right,
she said. The coworker whom she had waved off mouthed something like, "What's going on?" She turned away from him and hid her pad from sight.
Okay, Doctor. I'll see you for that appointment tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss an episode. Be sure to smash that like button and comment below. It helps a lot. If you'd like to help me get this book published, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. And as always, be sure to share this story with all of your friends on your favorite social media.